97% of black adults don't swim. I mean, that's shocking.
Yes, and it's actually up from 2020, when it was 95% of black adults in England did not swim. So it's moving in the wrong direction.
Why?
So many reasons. I mean, this I've done 3 documentaries, Blacks Can't Swim, and speaking to the adults, this is the usual thing. It was never a thing we did our parents didn't swim. It was never a priority. Black women in their hair. There's so many reasons. But everybody has their own journey. Everyone has their own reason. I only learned how to swim 3 years ago. And but this documentary is more about the youth, because I strongly believe that if we're going to change this, it's going to have to be with the youth.
Tell us a little bit then about this documentary. I mean, as you've mentioned, you've made other films about swimming. Why is this one different?
Like I said, when I saw the new statistics for 2024, which stated that 97% of black adults in England did not swim, and 82% of black children in England did not swim, I said to myself, the only way we can change this is by the youth, by infusing youth culture into swimming, or swimming into youth culture. Once you get the youth swimming, when you get the young ones swimming, that will change everything, because they're going to be our future leaders, future, shall I say, policymakers, future parents. And if they find it interesting and exciting to swim, then it will change it for them and for their children. And they will change the narrative. Because right now, it's you have to swim, and they need to swim, but it has to be they want to swim. And this documentary, and of course, so basically everything I've just said right now is what I think should happen, and I think will happen, but we need to know for sure. So I said, why don't we just stick a few cameras behind some young people, following them on their day-to-day to understand how swimming can be part of, how they feel about swimming.
Yeah.
And that's what this documentary is about. It's a fly in the wall.
What's the response been?
It's been amazing.
Has it?
Yeah. I mean, to get young people in having a conversation about something that they do not find exciting anyway, because obviously they don't, because otherwise 82% of them will be swimming.
Yeah.
But to get them to actually engage in it was amazing.
I suppose a standard kind of response is, why is it important? Why do I need to learn how to swim? Why does it matter if I can swim or not?
First and foremost, it's a life from a safety perspective. Majority of people that they say fall into water and drown never intended to be in water. So you got to be able to. We go on holidays. So it's good to be in a situation whereby if you're ever in that situation, you know what to do.
But that's the thing, because when I was growing up, I remember, my parents took me to taught me how to swim when I had my own children. That was part of their learning, was when they were very young, taking them to the swimming pool. Does that not happen then within the black community?
No, it doesn't. And I had a conversation with one of the senior, I think a CEO of one of the national governing bodies, and she said, swimming is part of the curriculum. So I don't understand why black children and Asian children are not swimming. And I explained it to her that, okay, most schools do not have swimming pools, so they have to go to a leisure center. So, work with me on this scenario. You take 30 kids, put them in a coach, you've got an hour, you take them to the swimming pool. Kids get there, kids messing around and all that kind of thing. So by the time they get into the pool, they only have about 20 minutes. So the coach or the instructor, what they will do is that they will divide them into categories. Those that can swim get into the water. Those that have a little bit of ability, they have to stand a chance. But those that cannot swim, they will sit on the side, blow bubbles, and put rings around them and such. And you tend to find out those that can swim are those that parents take them swimming outside of the education system. Yeah. So by the time they get there, they have the ability to swim. And we've already established that 97% of black adults in England do not swim. And if the parents are not going, then the children are not going.
Yeah. And as you mentioned earlier, you've only learned to swim in the last 3 years.
Yes.
How was that experience for you as an adult? Because when I've spoken to people about this before who've learned how to swim, when they're older. You know, there is that kind of what's the right word? I can't think of the word, but that embarrassment of not being able to swim. And, you know, I'm in my mid-20s, I'm 30, whatever, and I can't swim. How was that for you, learning that as an adult, learning to swim?
It was challenging, and especially challenging for me because the first time I had the first lesson I had was in the first documentary.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so at the end of the documentary, and that was a film called Blacks Can't Swim. So when you see me getting into the water with the instructor for the very first time, and you see that fear on my face, that was not acting. That was real fear. It was challenging, and it still is challenging. And I'll tell you why it's still challenging. I'd never really admit this, but I should do, and I'm going to say it right now. Swimming is still not exciting for me. It's still not something that every time I'm going to go, so like I go into a leisure center, I'm going on holiday, I mentally prepare myself to go into, because it's not something I've lived all my life without it.
Yeah.
So and that's why it has to be done at the very early age. I have a 13-year-old daughter who can swim, and she's in the documentary as well. She doesn't swim as much as I'd like her to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I want it to be infused into youth culture, so that she would want to swim. Not that she has to, but she would want to swim.
Okay. Fascinating. Where can people see this documentary that you've made?
It's on YouTube. So all my other documentaries have been on Sky, Amazon, and all that kind of. But this one, I wanted it to be accessible to everyone. So I put it on YouTube. So just go on YouTube and type in "Changing the Narrative."